So I've taken a break from GeoGuessr for a minute. Oh, you guys can't even see it in the top left. Well, I've been playing GeoGuessr. I do videos and streams on my second channel and on Twitch. Those links are in the description, youtube.com/BengalPlays and twitch.tv/Bengal if you guys are interested in that. However, I know most of you are just interested in reacting to this mock draft. Daniel Jeremiah came out with mock draft 2.0, and per usual, I have not looked at it because I feel like a fresh reaction is always going to be good for the video. Now, my bias out the gate, got to tell you, got a lot of respect for Daniel Jeremiah. I think he's the best in the business, and he really knows what he's talking about. And also, it is a February mock draft. We haven't seen free agency. There's no combine this year, not that that's even entirely relevant. But basically, don't overreact. It's just what he thinks is going to happen based on where we are now. I always hate overreactions to positions in mock drafts, in fits and all that. I think as long as the fit of the player to the team is good, don't overreact based on what you've been seeing for the past several months for other random mock drafts. But here we go. Daniel Jeremiah, NFL Mock Draft 2.0. If you guys like videos like this, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out, as we'll see Trevor Lawrence go #1 overall, I'm sure, of course. Saw his pro day. It was on NFL Network. And yeah, not that it changes much. I know Trevor Lawrence has a shoulder surgery on his non-throwing left shoulder in the near future. That doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't affect his throwing arm at all, and he's still a great, unbelievable prospect. He's been the pick at #1 for the entire year for good reason, even though I just said, hey, don't overreact to what we've seen the entire year. This one is one that makes sense to stay where it is. At #2, Zach Wilson to the Jets. I've been on this for a while. I still agree that Zach Wilson is the second best quarterback in the class. Did an entire video comparing Zach Wilson to the best quarterback in the league. Obviously, that's at the super, super high-end ceiling that I don't think Zach Wilson will ever meet. But just stylistically, I think Zach Wilson has some pretty unbelievable traits. And he's definitely a really fun player to watch. And the Jets, it's an interesting organization for him to go to. But I think he's got what it takes to pull the Jets out of whatever dark crevice that they've been in for the last few years, several years even. #3, Jamar Chase to the Dolphins, arguably the best receiver in the class. I think this makes sense for the Dolphins, who need a big-time playmaker. I think that Jamar Chase is definitely wide receiver 1, or has wide receiver 1 potential in the league. And I don't even mean the best receiver in the class. I think we are well aware who that is for me. Jalen Waddle did a video on that. I'm doing more draft scouting videos in the future, so stay tuned. But Jamar Chase is a monster and definitely worth the pick here at #3 for the Dolphins. Atlanta Falcons at #4, they take Justin Fields. So he says that he has Trey Lance ranked ahead of Fields in his top 50, but Fields' athleticism could lead Atlanta to pursue a homecoming for the Georgia native. It's very tough to rank the top 4 QBs, in my opinion. I think Trevor Lawrence is for sure #1. I think Zach Wilson personally is #2, but I wouldn't be mad if someone had Justin Fields at 2, or even if you want to buy high on the upside, Trey Lance at 2, or Zach Wilson at 2. I mean, it's really crazy to rank these guys. So Fields at #4 makes a lot of sense if the Falcons are going to take a QB. And I've been on this for a while. I think they should, based on Matt Ryan's age and contract and the rest of the team. I think you need to take a quarterback while you can. I like the Falcons, but are they one defensive player away? I don't think so. I think they need to look forward to the future, and that isn't just this next season. It's a few years down the line, at least. #5, Penei Sewell to the Bengals. So I think he had Rashawn Slater there previously. Sewell's got unbelievable upside, despite being a little bit fundamentally and technically raw at the moment. But if you look at Tristan Wirfs, who's a little bit raw coming out of Iowa, all-pro type year at right tackle for the Bucs this past season. If you can coach Sewell up, he could be an unbelievable offensive lineman. And, of course, that's why you're taking a tackle like that, top 5. At #6, the Eagles take Kyle Pitts. Apparently, Daniel Jeremiah doesn't envision Zach Ertz being on the Eagles roster for the 2021 season. Understandable with age, contract production, Dallas Goedert, etc. But Kyle Pitts, we talk about it all the time. He's not really just a tight end. If he is, maybe one of the best receivers in the class, top 1, top 2, top 3, something like that, it's not crazy to envision him being taken, inside the top 6 picks. The Eagles are a weird team to mock for, but they need a big-time playmaker in the secondary. and a big-time playmaker on offense. And I think Pitts at least satisfies one of those criteria. For the Eagles at 6. Micah Parsons to the Lions at 7. Yeah, speed, athleticism at linebacker is definitely valuable. I saw something on Twitter last night that made me crazy about this. Some random guy talking about how Roquan Smith shouldn't be picked up on the by the Bears when it comes time to contract renegotiation, and he doesn't have a skill set that fits today's NFL. Oh yeah, teams don't value speed and cover ability, sideline to sideline range. Like, what are you talking about? And Micah Parsons, while not being the cover type player that Roquan Smith is, he has all the speed and athleticism that teams are going to covet. So him being a top 10 pick makes sense to me. Carolina Panthers take Trey Lance. Like Trey Lance a lot. Trey Lance is a really, really good prospect in my opinion. Super high ceiling. It's just in the same way that Jordan Love had some things to clean up. Same thing with Trey Lance. Just got to become a little bit more technically sound as a passer, and that starts with footwork probably. And as long as the timing works out, learn the playbook, I think Trey Lance is going to be a really, really good quarterback. Quarterback's a tough position, the toughest position to play in football. So it isn't just seeing the arm strength and the athleticism and the accuracy and go, oh, Trey Lance is a beast. That's a big part of it, but there's another huge part to it as well. And that stuff, like, you know, a lot of players at the quarterback position never get the hang of. So it's tough to know what any QB prospect is going to turn into, but I have high hopes for Trey Lance. I really do. At number 9, Denver Broncos take Caleb Farley. They released A.J. Bouye, not that that even mattered. He was terrible last season, and the Broncos really need a boundary corner terribly. Michael Ojemudia played well last year. I think Bryce Callahan's a really good slot option, but they don't have anything on the other boundary. Caleb Farley makes a ton of sense. Number 10, Surtain to the Cowboys, reuniting with Trevon Diggs. I think that makes a ton of sense as well. They're losing a lot of guys potentially to free agency at the cornerback position. Their secondary is not good to begin with. And, like, Trevon Diggs is also, like, it's tough to know what he's going to be long-term. Was not that great last season. I understand. Oh, man, he was just a rookie. I totally understand that, but that doesn't mean he's going to get better. This isn't a video game where he's going to progress and get a little bit better every single season. He might never get better, but maybe he will. And maybe he'll be a beast. Alabama tandem reuniting in Dallas. New York Giants take Gregory Rousseau. Now, I did a video all about Rousseau. He's just extremely raw right now. People think I'd be really, really upset if the Giants took Greg Rousseau. And I really wouldn't, because his upside is so high, and he's a versatile guy in the attacking 3-4 of Patrick Graham's defense. It's just he's not refined right now. It doesn't mean he can't be a great player in a few years. It doesn't mean he can't be schemed perfectly in year 1 even. But he's just really, really raw right now. Could be, you know, a potential all-pro because of his amazing athleticism. But buying high on athleticism over fundamentals as a pass rusher, I always hate it, because we see these guys all the time that just never develop technically, which is scary. But I wouldn't mind Rousseau. You can coach him up, you got a monster. If you can't, we'll have to see. At number 12, 49ers go Rashawn Slater. Yeah, they might lose Trent Williams. This one makes sense to me. Also, yeah, inside flexibility. The 49ers really could use some help on the interior of their offensive line as well, and that's if they retain Trent Williams. So overall, Slater just seems like best player available at multiple positions of need. Number 13, Jalen Waddle, the Chargers. This one makes sense as well. They could use an elite separator, and that's exactly what Jalen Waddle is. He'd be an amazing combo in that offense. You have Keenan Allen, possession-type guy. You have Mike Williams, if you keep him long-term, possession-type guy. Now, Jalen Waddle can take the top off the defense and be unbelievable after the catch. Jalen Waddle is a really, really good fit for the Chargers, in my opinion. They have a lot of needs, in my opinion, as well. But this just might be best player available, and this would be a very, very good fit. At 14, Vikings go Devontae Smith. This is an interesting one. This would be an interesting one. Adam Thielen is getting older. Justin Jefferson, of course, was an unbelievable rookie last year. I don't know, man. Their defense is not great. I think they need help on the edge. I think they need help on the interior of that defensive line. Their secondary is going to be in a real bad position in a couple of years based on contracts, aging, regression, all that. And then their offensive line isn't anything special either. So maybe there might be more pressing positions of need before a wide receiver, but if Devontae Smith is there at 14, that one would be pretty intriguing. Probably, I don't expect them to take a receiver at that spot, but you never know, especially if Devontae Smith is available. J.C. Horn to the Pats. We have heard some things about the Pats trading Stephon Gilmore, who has an expiring contract after next year. J.C. Horn, physical press man corner, which is kind of the style of player that the the Patriots have really coveted in their secondary. You look at how good Aqib Talib was there. You look at them taking, what is that Vanderbilt corner who's 6'3"? Joejuan Williams was taken at the end of the first round, early second round, I think Joejuan Williams was. And they like this type of player. I think this makes sense, especially if they trade Stephon Gilmore. Elijah Vera Tucker to the Cardinals. This one's interesting. I really like protecting Kyler Murray here. Give him some more time. Definitely gives you an option to run the football more often as well. You beef up that offensive line. We've seen so many offenses just run the football relentlessly against teams that can't stop it. And a player like Elijah Vera Tucker fits that as well. Number 17, Kwity Paye to the Raiders. We've had this a while. It's just a really good fit if he's on the board. Physical edge rusher, offers you some versatility about whether he plays off the edge or even inside a little bit, given the defensive front that you're throwing out there. Comes from a prestigious school, Michigan, highly recruited player. It's exactly what the Mike Mayock drafting meta seems to be thus far. Najee Harris to the Dolphins at 18. I like this one. I think that there are probably more pressing positions of need. And I think if a player like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is available, Zaven Collins is available, with both of whom are, I think those would be better selections than taking a running back. I love Najee Harris, don't get me wrong, but a running back at 18 with some really versatile, really talented players still on the board, probably not my favorite, especially when you pick again pretty high in the second round and you can just take a running back there. Najee Harris is really good though. I love Najee, so I don't hate it too much. Christian Darrisaw to the Washington football team. They don't have a left tackle right now, so Christian Darrisaw fits that. Bears take Kadarius Toney, another elite separator, just like Jalen Waddle. They're very different type of players, but they separate at an elite level for sure. Toney is not a polished receiver just yet. You're going to probably deal with some drops from him, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone as crazy with the football as Kadarius Toney is. He moves unlike anybody else. I mean, it's like Dante Hall type stuff. I say unlike anybody, and then I compare him, but Kadarius Toney is unbelievable to watch. He's raw as a receiver, as like catching the football, but as a route runner, he's fairly polished right now. The Bears have a lot of positions of need, in my opinion: quarterback, offensive line, receiver. Their defense is pretty solid, but receiver, I guess, makes sense. This is your Allen Robinson replacement, even though they're very, very different type of players. At number 21, we have the Colts taking Greg Newsome. He's getting very high in the first round now. But yeah, Greg Newsome had a great year last year at Northwestern. He is a really talented player, and the Colts could use a boundary corner. I know Xavier Rhodes had a good year last year, but he's obviously not a long-term solution, so Newsome makes sense to me. At number 22, Jalen Phillips to the Titans. I love Jalen Phillips as a prospect. I've said that he's my edge one for a while. That might be in the next video for scouting guys. I just don't love him in a 3-4 as much, but this just might be best player available for the Titans. So I don't hate it per se, just because I think Jalen Phillips is so talented. I just don't think he's a guy that can drop back into coverage for you in a 3-4, which, while it doesn't happen a ton, if he still has 60 or 70 dropbacks in coverage a year, that's probably too many for a guy that we haven't seen do it. So I don't love him in a 3-4 as much as I do in a 4-3, but he's a really, really good player. It's tremendous value at 22 if he can stay healthy. Has concussion problems, if you were not aware. Number 23, Ronnie Perkins into the first round. Wow. Did not expect that. Ronnie Perkins is a solid player. Watched him at Oklahoma over the past few years. Ronnie Perkins is someone that I've watched a little bit of tape-wise so far, like individually watching him. He's an interesting player. Big motor guy. The technical refinement, in my opinion, is not quite there yet. It's interesting seeing him go this high. I wonder where he is on DJ's big board. That's an interesting one. I would rather see a guy like Joseph Osai go here to the Jets if you're taking an edge, or even Azeez Ojulari. I really like those players. Ronnie Perkins is definitely not bad. I don't mind seeing him in the first round. I don't think it's crazy. It's surprising. I don't think it's crazy if you're buying on his high floor. Number 24, Steelers go Jalen Mayfield. All I hear about, Steelers aren't going to take an offensive lineman. I don't know why that's a thing that people keep saying. Losing Alejandro Villanueva is going to be huge. Maurkice Pouncey retired. Like, they really should take offensive line if there's a good one available, like Jalen Mayfield is. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah to the Jaguars. I mean, it seems kind of like a lot of the players that they've been getting to play linebacker outside of Joe Schobert. It's like this almost feels like a Miles Jack clone coming out of college. Owusu-Koramoah doesn't play as big as Miles Jack does, but is a really, really good cover speed linebacker. And, I mean, could make that defense dynamic. That's kind of a fun one. Joe Tryon to the Browns. Need an Olivier Vernon replacement. I like that. Apparently teams are really high on Joe Tryon around the league. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go first round. Ravens go Trayvon Merrick. I think they have bigger needs to address, as DJ says here. I really, really believe that they should address edge, interior offensive line, and receiver before safety. But Trayvon Merrick, yeah, could be best player available. I'd like to see somebody else go there at one of those other positions. Maybe it's Azeez Ojulari. Maybe it's Joseph Osai. Maybe it's Rashad Bateman, who I'm still very, very high on. I think Rashad Bateman's awesome. Maybe it's Wyatt Davis, who I think probably could be a first-round guy. But Merrick is the pick here. Mac Jones to the Saints, available at 28. This is a very, very interesting pick here. But he's a smart quarterback, and he already has a better arm than Drew Brees. So there you go there. That's your Drew Brees replacement. Big shoes to fill. Packers go Tevin Jenkins. I don't know why tackle comes up for them so much in mock drafts. I feel like they have more needs as well. Cornerback is so glaring to me. And then even wide receiver. Like, yeah, injuries were big, but I don't think you're counting on losing David Bakhtiari again. And I mean, like, I get that, like, it's good to have backups if someone gets injured. I feel like they have bigger needs. I really do. I think this should be a corner or even a wide receiver or even a linebacker for the Packers. There goes Azeez Ojulari to the Buffalo Bills. They do need edge rusher pretty badly. Don't mind that one at all. They have a lot of holes. Right tackle, right guard with free agency. Outside linebacker, Matt Milano with free agency. So I think a guy like Zaven Collins would be a perfect fit here. But Azeez Ojulari is the one. Landon Dickerson to the Chiefs. You know, I don't mind it. Their offensive line was so awful. We saw that especially in the Super Bowl. Alabama teammates loved him. You saw him come in at the end of the game in the national championship, take the last snap. It was awesome to see. But, yeah, if he can stay healthy and stay on the field, he's going to be a really good player. The Chiefs really, really need offensive line help, and that was so apparent in the Super Bowl. As we get to the Super Bowl winner, which was the Bucs, they go Nick Bolton. Yeah, if they lose Levante David, they really would need a replacement at that position. I think edge is huge here. And, yeah, I think Zaven Collins is a first-round guy. I really do. His athleticism and versatility, I think, puts him in the first round for sure. But you never know. You never know. So he drops out of the first round here. I'm a big Zaven Collins guy. You know, got a chance to watch him, and I've loved every second of it. Zaven Collins is a really good player. Talk about someone that's 6'4", 260, edge flexibility, can play off the ball, is a really, really good cover guy, and he's massive. Really athletic. Zaven Collins is a fun player, but Nick Bolton, new Mike linebacker, coming to Tampa Bay. I think they retain Levante David. I really do. But, again, you never know. It's pre-free agency. This is why you do the mock drafts. This was an interesting one. But it was a fun one, as a lot of mock drafts tend to be. That's going to do it for the video, guys. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching. We're almost to 300,000 subscribers, just like 15K away. So I appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea. But I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.
I hit it at the park, bend bones. See me high step to the end zone. My life like a game, Nintendo. Playing with the best, let them know. Get off the track, the train's coming through. Yeah. Promise you get in my way, then you best believe I'ma just run over you. Yeah, yeah. Papa turn taking it back to the house. Defensive joke, I'm laughing. they so loud. Speedbird's good.